Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Tiger Driver Radio. This is your main man, JP, alongside
Juicy J.
That's right, baby. We're here. We're back. We're better than ever. We took a week off. Thanksgiving was awesome. I don't know about you. I stuffed my face. I gained 6 pounds.
Oh, man, I didn't even weigh myself because I'd probably be like 200 pounds.
Oh, dude, I stuffed my fat ass with so much mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
And pernil for all you Puerto Ricans out there. Pork shoulder. I had pernil.
Is that good?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Man, it's all about eating on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and then arroz con gandules. It was like a Puerto Rican and an American type of, because we also fried the turkey too.
Uh-huh.
So we had fried turkey and we had pernil, pork shoulder.
Yeah.
And then we had arroz con gandules, which is a Puerto Rican rice with beans and everything and olives and shit. And then you had the stuffing. You had the mashed potatoes, sweet potato pie.
Mm-hmm.
What else we had? We had coconut cream pie.
Didn't throw in some tamales in there from your Mexican side?
We did it. We had that too.
No way. That's cool.
We do. We had that. We had that too. We had what else? Brussels sprouts with bacon.
Uh-huh.
We had, I think, like a little bit of salad.
Yeah.
Dude, we had everything.
Man, how many people in your house?
Well, okay, it was me, my mom, my dad, some guy from the Air Force Base that my mom invited over, my uncle.
Oh, that's cool.
My uncle's girlfriend, and this other dude, my aunt. So about like 8 or 9 people.
Man.
So I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't need that much food, but still, like even with us killing it, we still had a little bit of leftovers, like a little bit. But yeah, I am. Oh my god, I'm so stuffed. I'm not actually. I'll be honest. I'm not like the biggest like Thanksgiving fan, honestly. Everyone's like, oh my god, Thanksgiving's epic. I have epic meals throughout the whole year, dude. Like, I don't need.
You're not the one that hate, like the ones that people that hate it Thanksgiving because of the whole Columbus is a murderer thing.
Well, yeah, I agree with that viewpoint.
Yeah.
But what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna stop my parents.
Yeah.
Like they want to keep doing it and they want to cook a badass meal. I'm not gonna stop them.
I mean, I enjoyed the thing you get together with people and like say thanks for whatever you're thankful for. But
as far as the Columbus thing, yeah, absolutely. Columbus is a murderer. He's an asshole. Fuck him.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna stop my parents from doing it.
Yeah.
Because why? What's not to like about food? Like, why would I stop an epic meal?
Does your family also watch foosball and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, not us. Not much of the.
We used to go outside and play football afterwards or before. So that used to be a thing. But no, it was cool, man. But you know what else I was thinking of, man? Like, everybody out there in the Tiger Driver Army knows how much of a music fan I am, how much I love different kinds of music and everything. And I'm super excited about the fact that like Motley Crue announced that they're going to be getting back together after for many years saying that they're not going to do it. How they retired. They're going to get back together. They're going to do a stadium tour with like Poison, Def Leppard, and Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, which all old school rock and roll. I love it. It's awesome. But then it got me thinking, these older bands, even though they can still perform, like they're going out and they're kind of getting exposed to like another new generation of kids that didn't grow up back in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
And then it got me thinking. It got me really thinking. There's a lot of amazing wrestlers that don't wrestle now, whether they're retired or they're too old or they've since passed on or whatever. And I'm thinking, what are like some wrestlers that I wish would be alive now?
Yeah.
In today's era. And I think you and I should play. We haven't done this in a while. I think we should make a list.
Yeah.
Do a list. Keep this in the back of your head as we're talking about today's news and stuff like that, which we got a lot. 5 wrestlers that no longer wrestle now that you wish were wrestling now.
Okay.
Just 5.
All right.
Yeah.
I keep thinking about that.
5 wrestlers that no longer wrestle that you wish could currently go now. And where would you want to see them?
Okay. I like that.
Because there's a lot of promotions out there. There's a lot of options.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, before we talk about that, you want to talk about some New Japan first?
Absolutely, man. Like I said, the World Tag League is going on. And like I said, everything's finally starting to get set up for Wrestle Kingdom, which I'm super excited about. So let's get on to it.
Let's do it.
教えてよ人はなぜ探し続けるの限りなく切ない明日の 夢を
I appreciate the fact that you let it play for a little bit.
I like that song.
I love that song, man. Like, yeah, absolutely. Minoru Suzuki's theme song has to be like within my top 5 favorite wrestling theme songs, not just in Japanese puro, but just in wrestling, period.
Yeah.
I noticed you let it play for a minute before I got introduced. I am not mad about that. Oh, man, I love Minoru Suzuki. Speaking of, man, I call bullshit. No, let me just start right now. I call bullshit. Why isn't Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer at the top of the brackets for this tournament?
And they're getting close.
I mean, they're close, but I think they should be dominating, dude.
Yeah,
they're doing good. They're doing good. I'm not saying they're not doing good, but I think
16 points.
They're at 16 points, so they're within contention because there's 3 teams that are at 16 points right now.
I mean, there's other teams that are doing way better, like Juice and Finlay.
Juice and Finn are at 18. Tama Tonga and Tongaloa are currently at 16, which I think they're going to and then, of course, Finlay and Roberts, they're at 20 points.
Yeah.
Cabana and Yano at 16, which, wow. I will say this. I have enjoyed watching them wrestle together. I mean, they are just a funny comedy duo. And not to mention the fact that, it's funny as hell to see these two guys, just complete goofballs, actually getting over. Actual teams.
They have a lot of chemistry between each other.
Yeah, they do.
Everyone laugh.
Absolutely. Wouldn't it be kind of awesome to see Yano on NWA Power? I think it would. It would work. I think it would work.
They would go over quick.
They go over quick because it's a little old school, and throwing a little bit of comedy in there would be hilarious. And the thing is that I'm a little disappointed in is the fact that Lance Archer and Minoru Suzuki are at 16 points. I personally thought then Kojima and Tenzan would do a hell of a lot better in this tournament.
Kojima and Tenzan?
Tenkoji. I really thought they would do a lot better. I think they're currently at 14.
At 14.
At 14 points currently. And actually no, excuse me. I think they're at 8.
Yeah.
At 8 points. I don't know why I thought 14. And then I don't know. What I would have personally liked to have seen is the fact that Tenkoji, even though they're a lot older now, let them do well in this tournament and have some old school guys who are way over back in their day go against this dominating young tag team. I would have loved to have seen that because I think Kojima can still fucking go. He can still go. Tenzan, he's lost a step.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Tenzan in his matches against Masahiro Chono in the 90s and 2000s, and Tenzan was awesome back then. He can still go now, but he's lost a step. Kojima, I still think Kojima's competitive as hell.
Yeah, he definitely is. Tenzan as well with his I like Tenzan. I like watching Tenzan all the time with his the 2 chop thing he does. Kind of I don't know that pops me all the time.
Oh, his Mongolian chops?
Yeah. That's all. They're always cool to him. Cool to watch him do that. So I still like watching him.
Absolutely.
And all these other old school guys like Makabe and Hanma.
Only 6 points, most violent players.
Seems like they just put them on there just to have people on there and then just for them to get squashed.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't really appreciate the fact that there are certain teams in this tournament that kind of get buried. Manabu Nakanishi and Yuji Nagata have only won one match. One match. And I think that's bullshit. Personally, Nakanishi, in my opinion, needs to retire at this point. Nagata, I still think Nagata can go. I don't think you should be utilizing him as some living legend guy that just gets everyone else over. I mean, yes, use him to get other younger talent over, but I still think he still has some fuel in the tank.
Yeah, he does. He has a lot. He has a lot to give still.
I don't see for a guy who's at his age. I mean, like I said, I don't understand why you're misutilizing Yuji Nagata. In fact, for a guy like Yuji Nagata, who's all about respect and honor in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and with someone like Kenta, who's gone around disrespecting, being very disrespectful, why not put Yuji Nagata as his old legend trying to beat some respect into Kenta? Mm-hmm. You got 2 of the best strikers, of all time.
Yeah.
Story writes itself. I don't know. I just think of so many other ways that you could utilize some of these guys on the roster than just using them as guys to get, buried in this tag tournament,
Nagata has a cool gimmick with his shirt. I want to get one of his shirts.
Oh, his inverted shirt where he has the demon face
on there. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But speaking of funny stuff, back to Cabana and Yano. It's cool that one of the matches they had in one of the nights was with Sonata.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool that Sonata was willing to, do the comedy stuff and not evil that much because evil's evil. he's just pure evil.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Sonata is cool that he just played along with everything, and that was cool of him. He even let himself get pinned by Cabana with the Superman pin. So I thought that was cool.
I still think that is the most ridiculous finisher ever. It's so unassuming. You think, okay, ha ha ha, 1, 2, and then kick out. No, like he legit puts people away with the Superman pin.
Yeah.
Something that is so simple. You know what I'm shocked about? I'm shocked that Yoshihashi and Ishii are at 16.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I want Yoshihashi and Ishii to keep winning.
Why?
I don't know. I want Yoshihashi to win for some reason. Every time I watch it,
You're gunning for him.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Because at first I was going for Juice and Finlay, but now I'm like going for Yoshihashi.
I have a feeling that Juice and Finlay might take it.
I think so, because they're putting them over big time.
And then you have Sonata and Evil, who are at 22 points as well. And they won the past 2 years the World Tag League together.
Yeah.
I think it'll probably end up being a triple between, them and GOD.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Juice and Finlay will be tag champs together.
Juice and Finlay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that would be cool. I wouldn't mind that.
I just think that the tag division in New Japan is a bit lacking these days.
Yeah. Yeah, because all these matches in this tournament have been a little bit lackluster, and I think it's just because they've been in house shows, like small shows. They're just maybe letting them rest a little bit and get everyone their energy for Tokyo Dome. Like the only one that has been gradually getting better is Terrible.
Yeah.
At first he seemed like he was a little uncomfortable, and then little by little he's like letting loose and just kind of going at it like Shingo.
Yeah, like I said, I am ready to see Shingo take another title.
Yeah. Outside
of the tag leagues, I don't think he really needs to be in the tag leagues, and I think it's also kind of funny that Jeff Cobb and Mikey Nichols are kind of replicating the same moveset that he had when he was in TMDK in Pro Wrestling Noah. Like the whole Mikey Nichols does the jumping punch, onto the opponent that's lying down. Jeff Cobb hits the standing moonsault. Yeah. That's the same thing that his former partner Shane Thorne used to do. In Pro Wrestling Noah, the same exact move. Uh-huh. There's a couple. It's like even Jeff Cobb posted on his social media saying like, I'm just trying out I'm not trying to replace anybody in TMDK. I'm just trying to join, which is kind of funny. I am surprised though that Tanahashi and Inare have not won a goddamn, have only won 2 matches.
Yeah.
They haven't winning shit.
That was expected.
It's kind of weird to be making Tanahashi on the losing end when he has to build up to his match against Jericho, which it's been primarily video packages. Uh-huh. And it also leads me to believe what's going to happen between now. Because, like I said, we got 4 weeks, 5, let's say 4.5. Mm-hmm. 4.5 weeks before Wrestle Kingdom is here.
Yeah.
Jericho is still, champ.
Lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, he's lurking in the shadows. He's still champ in AEW. Yeah. Is he going to bring that title with him? Mm-hmm. Is this, I know, to kind of deviate from the topic for a sec, I know Harold Meiji recently did an interview, as of a couple of days ago, and he said that, what is your relationship with Ring of Honor? He's like, we're still going to be working with Ring of Honor, and we'll trade talent when we need to, or when we feel like it, if they want to come to us or we go to them or whatever else. Yeah. But we're also open to working up with other people, and I think AEW is good for the business. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if that's a way to kind of smooth things over after what happened with the Kenny Omega thing.
Yeah.
Because the fact is, Jericho is still coming to Japan. And even John Moxley with Chris Van Vliet, and in his interview, he said that Chris Van Vliet said, now that you're wrestling for AEW, does that mean Japan's over for you? Are you still wanting to work in Japan? And Moxley's like, no, I absolutely want to still work in Japan when I can. Yeah. Absolutely. I love wrestling there. Absolutely.
So cool to see that the collaboration between them. Why not bring the belt? And it's not going to hurt anyone.
Yeah, exactly. In a very hypothetical, super hypothetical situation.
Yeah.
Right. Hypothetical as hell. Probably won't happen. But let's play Dream Booker for a second. Let's say come Wrestle Kingdom, whatever happens. But Okada ends up losing.
Uh-huh.
He ends up losing the IWGP belt.
Okay.
He disappears for a little while. He reappears in AEW and immediately challenges Jericho for the AEW title and takes it from him.
Man.
And then that eventually sets up Omega versus Okada 4.
Yeah.
which they'll put on an amazing show for American audiences. Now this is just fantasy. Like I'm going off the deep end.
It's fantasy, but not too far out there. I mean, they're letting Kenny go to AAA, and do stuff there.
Yeah, but that's because they have a speaking agreement that they're going to be working together too. Which, by the way, his match he recently had a match against Dragon Lee.
Dragon Lee, yeah.
Hell of a match.
Yeah.
Hell of a match. And this is another thing too. Like, does that mean we're going to see Dragon Lee in AEW at some point?
Hey, that doesn't sound too far-fetched.
Doesn't.
I would dig that.
Absolutely. And in my opinion, I think AEW needs some extra time, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But as far as the World Tag League is concerned, it has been a little bit lackluster. I honestly feel like I remember Gato said something that kind of made me like, you know what? I agree. Gato says, like, to be honest, in this whole damn tournament, the only stars are GOD.
Yeah.
In terms of tag team wrestling, couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest, like, they have dominated the tag scene on both sides of the pond for the past year between Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. If anything, I thought you would have brought in the Briscoes over to kind of reignite that rivalry one more time. Because in my opinion, I was a little bummed out earlier this year, even though it was entertaining to see, Sonata and Evil versus the Briscoes versus GOD at Madison Square Garden. But I was under the impression it was going to be GOD versus the Briscoes. End of story. And granted, we got that match in Ring of Honor later on in the year after Madison Square Garden, but I would have loved to have seen that happen in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Unfortunately, it's not the case.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. But hey, we still have some good talent here in New Japan, like always. And the ones I love to watch is Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr. I thought they were not going to be a good team at all. I thought that was a little strange pairing them up, but they proved me wrong. It has some good matches so far. And the other ones that I enjoy, that you mentioned earlier, is Cabana and Yano, and Finlay and Juice. But everyone else is kind of let me down a little bit. I mean, Suzuki and Archer are always cool because they always go out there and destroy everyone and everything and anybody that gets in front of them. So that's kind of fun. And RA, even though he's hasn't done much, he does have a new robe. He keeps adding stuff to his attire. So
I think he definitely needs a revamp in his character.
Yeah,
much like Yoshihashi just needs to just fucking get fired.
I want him to win, man. I want him to win.
Why? Why suddenly the change of heart?
I don't know why. Or maybe it's just so make you mad. But I'm still.
You're a hating ass bitch. You know
that. The ones I don't want to win is Sonata Evil because I don't like Evil.
I feel I like Evil. Why don't you like Evil?
I don't know. I never. I don't know. It's just. I think it's the one I don't like from LIJ.
I don't care for Bushi.
Really?
Yeah, I don't care for Bushi.
Why not? He's pretty cool.
I'm completely indifferent.
You don't like the Mist? Or the MX?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent.
Sort of the quiet one of the group, though.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The only thing that gives him a personality is his fucking mask. Mm-hmm. Everyone else kind of has a bit of a personality.
Yeah.
And also stands out on their own. Like every member of LIJ stands out on their own. Yeah. Even if you don't like Evil, you got to admit he does do well in the ring. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, Bushi. Like he doesn't do it for me, man.
Did you see this? That what happened too is that Okada and Ibushi are back now. You know how last show we were talking about that Naito and Jay White were the ones that were coming up and
carrying the weight. Yeah.
Yeah, and then what about Okada and Ibushi? But now they're back. They've been in a couple of shows already, or a few shows, where they had some 3-on-3 matches.
Yeah. And like I said, I think they like built up what they think they've done what they can for the Jay White Naito part of the rivalry at this point. I think now it's a matter of Okada against Ibushi that they're going to build up, because I know the tour ends very, very shortly, like within a week. Mm-hmm. And then you got that quiet break for a couple of days.
Yeah, I think the last 3 World Tag League shows are coming up on the 5th, 6th, and 8th, and they're in English, which is a good thing because most of his tournament has just been in Japanese, and some of it no commentary at all.
It's just been just a camera and just watching them.
Yeah, and house shows. So hopefully these last three shows are are much better than the ones we had. And then it's Road to Tokyo Dome.
That's the thing too. And then we have upcoming next Lions Break Project 2 on December 7th and 8th in Anaheim, California.
Yeah.
Which will feature a lot of the more potential wrestlers that will be featured in New Japan of America.
Yeah.
Coming up this upcoming year, which I'm really curious to see how they're going to pull this off. Mm-hmm. But I am happy that they said they will be touring America more often, and a lot of the New Japan of America shows will feature a lot of New Japan talent in between major tours in Japan.
Yeah.
So that's good to know.
That is cool.
That you know, you're not going to be completely robbed of no Japanese talent that makes New Japan awesome.
Yeah. Just it's not going to be all LA dojo people.
Yeah, just not completely. And then at the end, towards the end of the month, a couple of shows, December 19th, the 20th, 21st, Road to Tokyo Dome. The last 3 shows of the year, all at Korakuen Hall. I'm pretty sure all 3 of these nights are going to be just build up. Mm-hmm. Just build up of every match on the card, maybe finalize a couple of things.
Yeah.
And then boom, January 4th and 5th next year, Saturday and Sunday, Wrestle Kingdom in Tokyo. Like, everyone gets super excited about WrestleMania, and yeah, sure, WrestleMania is cool. For me, as I've gotten older, WrestleMania is cooler because of the shows that happen around WrestleMania rather than WrestleMania itself. But for me, for Wrestle Kingdom is quote unquote my favorite wrestling show of the year, and it has been for the past 5 years.
It's all about Wrestle Kingdom, baby.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, yeah, so absolutely. That's the thing, is Wrestle Kingdom is by far my favorite show of the year. I'm super excited. If you guys have any thoughts, please don't be shy. Chime in. Let us know what your guys' predictions are for Wrestle Kingdom. And other than that, man, let's get on to some other news around the wrestling world. Let's see what's going on. There's a lot of drama.
Let's do it.
The elite, the elite, okay, the elite, the elite, woo!
Yo. All right, well, check this out, man. One thing that I cannot stand more than anything in this world are people who are fucking bullies.
Yeah.
People who are bullies. Irregardless of how you don't like somebody for whatever dumbass reason, I think if you're truly a person of understanding and maturity and empathy, you don't pick on somebody who has a bit of a mental issue.
True.
Or mental problems. And I'm basically talking about Corey Graves and that whole issue with Mauro Ranallo. Now, apparently during Survivor Series weekend, which I did watch, I did watch some of it. Like I said, I still do occasionally watch WWE and their major pay-per-views, especially the NXT pay-per-view, which I say was awesome. I'll just leave it at that.
It was good.
It was very good. Mauro Ranallo has a tendency to dominate the commentary.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, he's so good that you don't really need anybody else. Mauro Ranallo could call a whole card by himself if he wanted. And he's amazing in MMA, and he's done an amazing job in boxing as well. He's a great voice.
He can do everything.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, like, he does tend to overpower some people at the audience. He doesn't tend to overpower Nigel McGuinness. He does tend to overpower Beth Phoenix.
Yeah, Beth Phoenix is a little awkward sometimes, the way when she's trying to say something and then...
Absolutely. And I just think that just comes with time.
Yeah.
Nigel McGuinness, I think, handles himself well. But the thing is, he sent out a tweet, and I'm talking about Corey Graves saying that you might not know it, but on tonight's NXT broadcast, there's also a WWE Hall of Famer and a former Ring of Honor world champion. And I could see the intent of basically kind of saying, hey, Mauro Ranallo, why don't you let these guys shine?
Yeah.
But when somebody suffers from who's bipolar and also suffers from depression, why would you target that guy? Like, why would you immediately target that guy? Like, you're just being an asshole, you know? It's like, yes, you might have a point, but there's a much more diplomatic way of going about it. And why the fuck do you need to tweet? That's like, in my opinion, this is the biggest problem, in my opinion, with people is that people are too brave online. Like, nobody, like, there's a lack of consequence for being a loudmouth on the internet. It's like, dude, like back in the day, if you said some shit, you get punched in your face.
Yeah.
That's it. Now people don't do that, or you can't do that, or people get away with stuff. People feel like mighty and brave behind, the keyboard. So I just thought that was bullshit.
Yeah. And it's all sometimes too. It's hard to explain things on Twitter because you just have that certain amount of characters you have.
Yeah, like it's a limited way of communicating.
Yeah. So whatever you put out there, you better check it or a couple of times because it is what it is. So better watch out because once you put something out there,
it's always out there.
It's just, man, no one forgets, especially with these crazy comments.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like, don't be a dick. Like, how hard is it if you got a problem with somebody, be like, hey man, I really think you need to tone it down or whatever else, like just talk to them in person. Like, why do you have to be such a, like, I don't know. I think it's just a childish bullshit.
If you see Mauro Ronaldo's documentary of his issues with the bipolar thing, it's really severe. So with him, if maybe one little comment you say, it's probably going to mess him up really bad.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people even clap back at that and say like, oh, well, the world doesn't need to like tiptoe around you. The world is this. The world is cruel. So why do people have to like tiptoe around you and coddle you? Fair. The world is a fucked up place. The world is a mean place. Absolutely. People should not cater around to you because the world goes on with or without you.
Yeah.
Completely understand that. I'm not saying for people to like tiptoe around a person, but if you are aware of somebody's condition, if you are aware, and if you are a mature adult, why am I going to deliberately attack that person knowing that person may not be able to handle it well?
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's just common courtesy, like, or not even common. It's just manners. It's just, why be a dick? Yeah. Like, just simple. Why be a dick? Like, it's kind of like, okay, if I see a little kid right here walking next to me and he's being annoying as shit, am I going to go there and just slap him beside the head and curse him out? No. I'd be like, hey, little kid, can you keep it down? Like, can you, like, there's a certain way you go about things for the desired effect. Like, you don't go out and deliberately be a dick. And I just think that just shows you have no fucking balls. You have no fucking nuts. Like, you're a fucking coward. It's coward.
Yeah.
It's some coward shit. I don't know. I just wanted to point that out there. Corey Graves can eat a fucking dick.
Yeah. Hopefully Ronaldo recovers. It seems like he's out.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not saying for people need a coddle. And people often say the whole term snowflake. Like, oh, everyone just gets so sensitive. I disagree with that. I just think people are starting to call out things that were always wrong.
Yeah.
And people just don't like the fact that now they're being held accountable for their words. Because people are too like willy-nilly and too free with their words on social media, man. Like, there's no consequences for that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, though. But I just wanted to point that out. And then, of course, there's other news happening around the wrestling world, man. So what have you got for me, man?
Let's see. Ring of Honor, man. It seems getting worse and worse. They fired Kelly Klein. They released her. And Enzo and Cass recently were on the Chris Jericho podcast, and they said they were talking about how they got ghosted by Ring of Honor.
Ghosted?
So that Ring of Honor, when you at the show you were at in New York, that they were contacted by Ring of Honor to
do the run-in.
To go in and do the run-in and make it real as possible, and they weren't going to tell anybody, just they're the only ones that really knew. And then after that, they got ghosted. They never called them back to. I think the angle they said was going to happen is they were going to go against the Briscoes. Yeah. And that never occurred. It's just, it
just didn't happen.
It didn't happen. They never called them, and it just, man, I just feel bad for those guys because those guys can't catch a break, it seems like.
I think some of it's self-induced.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, look at the fact that like Big Cass has had an addiction problem this past year, and also like he's been a little mentally out of it.
That's a good point because an indie show we were here in San Antonio recently. I think he didn't make it to this one, but we asked the promoter what happened to Cass because they were supposed to be there. Yeah, and he said that he was in his recovery. He was in one of those facilities. Yeah, rehab. There you go. I couldn't find the word. Yeah, he was in rehab still, and he had something going on, so he couldn't be at the show.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course Enzo kind of gets himself in trouble.
Yeah.
With his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and at this point, you know, I know him and Tama Tonga have been going back and forth.
Well,
you know, they've been, you know, talking a lot of trash. They've been just all the smoke all day. Like seriously, like I go up on Instagram and they're both just throwing bombs at each other, just saying a lot of real bad shit to each other, you know, and basically saying like, oh, you can't get over. And the Tama Tonga's like, why don't you learn how to work? The last time you learned how to work, you got knocked out by a rope. Like, you know, like they're just pretty much burying each other at this point. Yeah. So I just think it would have been if Ring of Honor would have been able to kind of capitalize on that, they could have drawn a lot of money this year with Enzo and Cass.
Yeah, they need something because it's getting, like I said, worse and worse.
And that's the thing. Like just recently, like they have 2 more debuts happening. You know, Rey Horus and who else was debuting for Ring of Honor soon?
Rey Horus and man, I forgot the other person. Maybe it was you.
Yeah, like I know, like Rey Horus is debuting.
It was JP.
Yeah, right.
But for Ring of Honor.
I know they're supposed to be debuting. He was supposed to be debuting, and Rey Horus is an awesome talent.
Yeah, I think he was in Battle of Los Angeles. Right?
Yeah, he was a consistent, you know, competitor in Battle of Los Angeles. But the fact of the matter is that nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody. Ring of Honor is losing eyes quick.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, they have such amazing talents. Like, I love the fact that right now Mark Haskins is in a rivalry against Bully Ray, where Bully Ray's kind of attacked his wife. You know, Vicky Haskins, which, by the way, amazing. Just, wow, just smoke show of a lady. Also, just really, really talented as a manager as well. But the fact is, like, that's an awesome rivalry. But the thing is, nobody really cares, you know?
Yeah.
You know, Nicole Savoy, formerly of NXT, is debuting for Ring of Honor. That's who the other name was. But the fact is, like, nobody seems to care about Ring of Honor. And if you look at the audience is they're selling bigger venues and they're not filling them up.
Yeah. It's just empty.
Yeah.
That sucks,
It's like at this point, you might need to go back to the smaller bingo halls again and rebuild your audience again.
Yeah, see what happens with...
I just don't understand why a company like Sinclair doesn't capitalize more off of a wrestling product.
Yeah.
Especially in this climate where people want to see good wrestling.
You start firing people. Make a just clean slate. Maybe. I don't know. But speaking about bingo halls, this is really not a bingo hall. It's more of a bar. But remember that show we went to, Heavy Metal Wrestling here in San Antonio?
Yes.
And that we saw ACH's.
Yes. One thing that was really awesome was seeing ACH, his first date back on the indies, which was right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Awesome show, you know. And I will say, man, like, it was really good to see him wrestle at his level. He didn't really discuss anything about WWE. He just said how much he loved and missed Texas. Mm-hmm. We'll see where his career takes him from here on out. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw him in New Japan Pro Wrestling again, because like he said, he's always expressed how well they've treated him. Mm-hmm. You know, and him and Ospreay, ACH versus Ospreay would be a badass match.
Yeah.
Or, you know, ACH versus practically anybody. Him versus Shingo. It'll be awesome. So we'll have to wait and see. But it was really it was really cool to say that we were there to see ACH's first match back in the indies post WWE.
Yeah, it's a cool vibe. Everybody was so happy for him.
Absolutely. Awesome show as well, man. And like hopefully, and I'm really excited. And then, of course, you know, Heavy Metal Wrestling this upcoming month will have, you know, Daga, ACH, and Tessa Blanchard on their card. So I'm really excited to see that as well.
Yeah. That's going to be cool.
Absolutely amazing.
It's a lot of stuff we're going to probably, maybe not this month, right? Because a lot of stuff is already ending for December.
Things are starting to kind of die down a little bit.
Yeah, because there's no AEW pay-per-view this month.
No, but I think what they're really trying to focus on is the fact that they're trying to focus in on building the fact that every Wednesday is an important night to watch.
Yeah.
It gives you incentive to watch, which I know they've been losing viewership, but I just think it's a matter of the time of the year.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And coming off of a major pay-per-view, of course, WWE is going to pull better numbers because Survivor Series was a pretty good pay-per-view. Probably one of the better ones in a long time.
Yeah. You know what they need?
What? What was that?
It was just hashtag random right there.
Hashtag random. But man. But on that note, man, you got anything else for me?
No, man. You want to talk about these our 5 picks?
Yes. Let's at least we forget. But before we talk about our 5 picks, man.
Yeah.
Where can people out there in the Tiger Driver Army, where can they find us on social media?
On social media, on Facebook, we are Tiger Driver Radio. On Twitter, we are Tiger Driver Rad1. That's RAD1, the number 1. You can email us at tigerdriverradio@gmail.com. And as always, we're here live. Well, except last week, it was Thanksgiving. But we're here live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central on Podbean. You come check us out on Podbean, interact with us, ask us questions, even call the show. You can send us pot points on Podbean. If you do, we would really appreciate it. If you don't want to do that, then all right, well, that's messed up, but that's not fine. But you could always find us on all of our platforms, podcast platforms. That's Stitcher, Spotify. What else we got? YouTube, iHeartRadio, all your major platforms. So check it out. Check us out.
Exactly. And if you guys have any suggestions, gripes, concerns, whatever, please let us know. Don't be shy. We love the feedback. We love the interaction with you guys, But let's get on to our list of the week.
Yeah.
What are 5 wrestlers that no longer wrestle at all, or wrestlers, whatever, or you could even a tag team counts as one slot. We'll say that. What are 5 wrestlers that you wish would wrestle now in this modern era? And
this is a hard list for me because from this you can tell that this show's not scripted. We don't write things down because I don't even know what I'm going to choose here. But
do you have anybody written down?
I got a few people written down.
All right. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'll start.
Or let's do 1 and 1.
Okay, we'll do 1 and 1. My first pick is Bruiser Brody.
Nice.
Bruiser Brody, because I think the way that he wrestles now, Bruiser Brody is in so many ways responsible for the advent of the hardcore style that you see now, of a big man who can move, who can work, but then also likes to mix in with the hardcore style with his wrestling ability. The fact is, he could work a wrestling match. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He could be a scientific wrestler, but he loved getting in there and brawling and using weapons and fighting. I mean, his matches against Abdullah the Butcher were super violent, or his tag team run with Stan Hansen in Japan.
Yeah.
Was legendary. Those two guys are just the most brutal wrestlers to come out of Texas, probably ever, in my opinion. But Bruiser Brody, so many hardcore guys that you see now owe so much to Bruiser Brody, especially Mick Foley. Mm-hmm. Mick Foley even said himself, he's like, I myself am an unathletic version of Bruiser Brody. Bruiser Brody was a way more athletic version of me. I wish I could have been Bruiser Brody. And not to mention, could you imagine the kind of heel Bruiser Brody could be? Just him being a madman, violent, crazy. Him having a pure heel versus babyface rivalry against a guy like Kenny Omega, or him versus Cody Rhodes, or him versus, I don't know, John Moxley. How violent that would be. Oh man, the possibilities of Bruiser Brody against anybody. Or I don't know, Bruiser Brody in Japan now, him versus Tanahashi, the ultimate babyface against the ultimate foreign heel, and someone as violent as Bruiser Brody.
Yeah.
That would just draw so much attention. Oh man, it would be so awesome to see Bruiser Brody in this modern era, because he fits right in.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I think his style and his presence is timeless. Mm-hmm. There's some people that you say, if they wrestled now, would they fit? And they'd be like, maybe not so much. But Bruiser Brody would fit perfectly in today's era. Absolutely. Wouldn't lose a step.
Man, that's a great pick.
In fact, I would even say in a lot of ways, he was ahead of his time.
Yeah. Man, that's an awesome pick, man.
Yeah. Bruiser Brody is my number 1.
Dang. I think that's it. You mic drop right there.
Mic drop.
You're done.
No, let's see what you got. Come on.
My first pick is Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think that's maybe the obvious one, the one that everyone probably chooses, that they would love for him to still wrestle. He was awesome in the Attitude Era, as everyone knows, and what he did for the wrestling business. I mean, it's hard for anyone maybe to even get to his level. And if you would have a match right now against New Japan against Suzuki, that'd be pretty cool. Or pretty much anybody.
Anybody that Stone Cold works with is gonna just draw money.
Yeah. So I mean, that's my pick right there. Just Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like I said, the obvious one for everyone, the one that everyone chooses.
I don't think that he would fit well in the PG era of WWE.
Yeah.
I think you put him outside in Japan or in AEW, would work way better.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't see him working well with this climate in WWE with how it is. But I agree.
Yeah.
You honestly, you took my number 2. You took my number 2. Stone Cold was like my number 2. So you took mine. But can I go on to my number 3 instead?
Número 3.
All right. My number 3 for women's wrestling would be Bull Nakano.
Yeah.
Bull Nakano from, you might recognize her from wrestling in Gaia, Japan. Also wrestling in WWE in the mid-90s against Alundra Blaze. The fact is, Bull Nakano had such an iconic look. Like she had like that crazy makeup and like this huge mohawk. Mm-hmm. Or crazy, or even before it was a popular thing, when she started her career in the late 80s, she used to shave the side of her head and just grow the side of it out before it was even a popular thing now. You know, and Bull Nakano was another person also ahead of her time. Just had this look, had this like punk rock look. Super aggressive in the ring. A big girl that knew how to use her size. She had that devastating like King Kong leg drop from the top rope. Mm-hmm. Super violent wrestler. I think if you had her look now with the big mohawk and the makeup and the attitude and the fact that she loved to brawl and she had one of the most devastating power bombs in like women's pro wrestling. Bull Nakano now would be amazing in this generation. And it sucks that, I mean, at this point now, she's lost a lot of weight. She's in her late 50s now. You know, so she's not wrestling anytime soon. It's in fact, she actually turned into being a professional golfer for a couple of years after pro wrestling. Now she makes wrestling appearances, but man, how awesome would it have been to see Bull Nakano now against a Sasha Banks, or Bull Nakano against Charlotte, or Bull Nakano against I don't know, a Tessa Blanchard. That would have been money. So Bull Nakano is by far my number 3 in terms of women's wrestling. Someone, in my opinion, who was also flat out ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Super ahead of their time.
Man, you got great picks, man.
I don't know, man. Like, they're all great picks. I mean, well, let's see yours, man.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my number 2 now.
Okay.
This might surprise people, but I liked his work when he would wrestle Rikishi.
You mean Rikishi as Rikishi?
Yeah.
Okay, not as a member of like the Head Shrinkers or anything.
No, Rikishi as Rikishi.
Really?
Yeah, I liked him in the Attitude Era. I mean, him as a Samoan, because the one thing that a lot of people forget is the Hell in a Cell match where he fell into the truck. I think
I do remember that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't give him credit for all he did there, and I think he even kind of was a pioneer for all these big guys that can move that you have now, like Kevin Owens and I don't know, Willie Mack, all these big guys that I think he was one of the first ones that would do that. Like a lot of big guys in the Attitude Era and before then, they would just be big guys. They wouldn't like do like high spots, you know. They wouldn't do jump outside of the ring or anything.
Or they weren't
like
agile.
He wouldn't. He's the one that I think that I can remember that kind of started that, and then after that, kind of people started getting the idea like, hey, and you know, big guys could do other stuff other than just be
big guys,
strong guys that could just beat the small, scrawny guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good choice. That's a solid choice. I don't think Rikishi gets enough credit, personally.
Yeah, and I think the matches he would have now with all these people, I mean, I think he could still hang with them.
His gimmick would get over still.
Yeah.
It would just make kids laugh.
Yeah.
You know, it would make kids laugh. I mean, it would be absolutely hilarious. So, yeah, I think that's a solid choice.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid choice.
You want me to give you my number 3 since you already got number 3?
Yeah, you go again because since you already took my Stone Cold one.
Number 3, I choose Eddie Guerrero. I mean, he's another obvious choice.
Damn.
Was that your number 4?
No, it should have been.
But Eddie Guerrero, man, like everybody gives him props for everything he did. So if he would have matches now, they would be amazing. Like against Kenny Omega, you think? I mean, if you could think about how good that would be.
Oh, that would be a technical masterpiece. You know, I honestly think Eddie Guerrero against someone like Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
Talk about chain wrestling like crazy.
Yeah.
Especially because, Eddie Guerrero is not the biggest guy himself either. So him working with another guy, like, I don't know if you ever watched Dean Malenko against Eddie Guerrero in ECW, if you ever seen those matches.
Yeah.
Those are such classic, like, that is like pure technical wrestling. I would love to see that. And let's be honest, without Eddie Guerrero, you wouldn't see 75% of the guys that we see now. How many people modeled their career after guys like Eddie Guerrero?
Yeah, everyone says that their favorite wrestler is Eddie Guerrero.
Or Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
But may he rest in power. A good choice. I didn't even think of Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero is one of my favorites of all time. And just off the split second, I didn't even think about putting him on my list, and I kind of regret it.
Again, this show's not scripted.
It's not scripted.
Top of our head.
Top of our heads. All right. So
what's your number 4?
Number 4 is from ECW, the tag team, The Eliminators. Perry Saturn and John Kronus. Another tag team that didn't ever get the due that they deserved.
Yeah.
Because these are guys that combined high flying and martial arts. Their total elimination finisher, where, Perry Saturn hit the sweep kick while John Kronus hit the spinning hook kick at the same time. So they pretty much chopped the guy in half in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
So a devastating finisher. Awesome tag team wrestling, super stiff. If you see guys like Red Dragon or, the Undisputed Era, those guys are such a clear-cut tribute to a tag team like the Eliminators. Very technical. The only thing is the Eliminators were very much a high-flying tag team. This is Perry Saturn prior to him going to WCW and then eventually WWE.
Yeah.
But the Eliminators against the Gangsters, super violent matches. The Eliminators against RVD and Sabu, super fun to watch. I think the Eliminators would have been an awesome tag team in this era, because I feel like tag team wrestling is kind of back on a bit of a renaissance now. Like, we're starting to see proper tag teams, not just two guys thrown together and here you go, you're tag team champions. Like, you got the Bucks, you got Proud and Powerful, you got the Usos, you have, the Undisputed Era of Kyle, or, Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. You have War Machine, even though they're the Viking Experience now. And who else do you have as far as tag teams are concerned? G.O.D., the Briscoes.
Yeah.
The Lucha Brothers, the Bucks. You have so many amazing tag teams out there in the world today compared to where it was in the 2000s, where tag teams were kind of kind of dying out. So I think the Eliminators would have been an awesome fit in today's wrestling scene.
Eliminator. Why do you want to say that? Isn't that from music?
No.
Oh, no, that's Regulators.
Regulators. Yeah, man. Warren G's Regulate. Jesus Christ. And he got that from Young Guns.
Yeah.
All right, what's your next one, smart guy?
My next one, and I think this kind of tells of when I started watching wrestling in a hardcore way, is my next pick is Taz. I think he'll be cool to see against all the submission guys that we have going around right now.
Oh, absolutely. Him versus Zack Sabre?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Or him versus Suzuki?
Yeah. Yeah, I think those matches would be pretty cool.
I think there's a bigger appreciation now for smaller guys, because like I said, I feel like Taz, what stopped him was the fact that Vince McMahon doesn't like smaller guys.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like guys that he didn't build himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he got buried because he was an ECW smaller guy.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been awesome to see Taz in today's world. Absolutely.
Yeah. He's doing commentary right now once in a while for AEW. So hopefully
his podcast is awesome to listen to.
Yeah. So that's my pick. What are we at? Number 5 for you?
Yeah, number 5 for
Number 5?
Yeah. And mine would be FMW legend Hayabusa. Mm-hmm. So much of what you see now, you can credit this man for. The Phoenix Splashes, the top rope moonsaults, the 450 splashes, the spinning, the different styles of spinning kicks, the Falcon Arrow, the Tiger Driver into the splits. Like, so many various types of moves that you see now, you can thank Hayabusa for.
Yeah.
Without Hayabusa, there wouldn't be so many of the different types of high spots and high flying you see now. So although there's a lot of guys that can do what he does now, and in some cases maybe better, I think it would have been awesome to see a guy like Hayabusa who could still work and also combine a lot of martial arts and technical wrestling with his prowess, to see how he would go up against guys in this era. And also because of the way he presented himself, like, he just had an awesome look to himself. Awesome look. So I think Hayabusa would have been awesome to watch in this era. Hands down.
Dang. Love that. My number 5 is a tag team. Well, maybe not known as a tag team, but they were always together. El Santo and Blue Demon
As a tag team?
as the tag team. Yeah.
That would work.
Yeah.
I know, because like even though they were famous on their own, they also were a tag team together as well.
Yeah, so I mean, they had awesome movies. I still remember that's like kind of my childhood right there. All their movies that they came out in. But having a match against Lucha Bros, that would be sick.
Could you, if that match happened now, could you imagine how insane that audience would be in Mexico?
Yeah, and different styles too. Because I know Blue Demon and Santo, I mean, they didn't move as fast as Lucha Bros, but I think they would. Their chemistry between each other would be good.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, in my opinion, who do you think would play the heels in that? Probably the Lucha Brothers, right?
Yeah, more than likely, since they have the goal. Well, more Pentagon than anything has a whole dark, I'm gonna mess you up kind of a situation or gimmick.
Yeah, and then Ray
especially like in Lucha Underground where he broke everyone's arms.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I mean that would be awesome. Or Blue Demon and Santo against the Bucks.
Yeah,
that'd be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Or maybe some big guys, because they were not as small as everyone thinks. Because I think I remember them, they're really like buff guys.
They were solid guys. Yeah, like that's the thing that people get. I think the are misconstrued about luchadors back then, and even now, luchadors are not small guys. Not all of them. Some of them are.
Yeah,
but a lot of the famous ones like Mira Máscaras, Blue Demon, El Santo, all of them were big guys. They're all barrel-chested dudes.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of most of them looked like from Nacho Libre.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Silver King. Yeah.
But had that look like bigger buff guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Like I said, I think the biggest misconception that people got is that luchadors tend to be smaller. Yeah. No, those just happen to be the guys that got popular in America in the 90s. Yeah. That's all. Because I mean, you also look at Psychosis and La Parka. Mm-hmm. Those are pretty big guys. Like they weren't small dudes at all.
Yeah.
Like Juventud and Ray were the only small guys.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those two.
And then Conan used to be a big dude, and then of course now, I mean, you can't really tell, but like he was a
buff guy back then.
Yeah, man. But as far as honorable mentions, I think if I would do this list again, I think my number one would have been like Mick Foley.
Yeah, that's
Mankind. Like if you would imagine all the hardcore matches he could have against Darby Allin and I don't know. Like any of the hardcore guys right now, maybe even Moxley.
Yeah, or even him as a comedy act with Mankind. Yeah. How funny it would be now. It would still go over today. I absolutely agree. You know?
What would you honorable mention me?
My one was going to be Mick Foley.
Yeah, same one. But if I had to pick a different one, honorable mention, I would probably have to say Andre the Giant. Yeah. Back in the 70s, not when he was in the 80s when he had his spine problems. Mm-hmm. I mean, Andre the Giant when he was still wrestling in the territories in the 70s when he can still move. Yeah.
Because have you ever watched early Andre the Giant before he was in WWE?
No.
Yeah, like if you watch Andre the Giant when he was wrestling in the AWA and wrestling all these other places, he could actually move. Like for a little while before he had his spine problems, he could actually move. In fact, it was scary how fast he can move for a big guy. This is back when he had the blue trunks and the long hair. Mm-hmm. I would take that Andre the Giant now. I mean, God, it would just scare the hell out of people. Like having a big guy who can move like that. Because I mean, I know now you got guys like Braun Strowman and Luchasaurus who are big guys who can move, but like Andre the Giant was the first one. It's just what killed his career was his health problems.
Yeah.
But I would have loved to have seen Andre the Giant now. Would have been and the thing is, he would be an attraction. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't even have to wrestle matches. He would be the guy to get involved in matches or to interfere, and nobody could take him down. Like if you used a guy like Andre the Giant effectively, it isn't about matches with him. It's just about like how a guy like that big can push along a storyline.
Yeah. Which I'm surprised that they don't use Big Show like that now. He just disappeared. Even though he got more cut, he got fitter. Yeah. That's even a right word. More fit, I guess I should say. I mean, he just disappeared. They don't want to use him, which is weird. Which he's like an Andre-like character, so that's kind of strange. But speaking about big guys and small guys, I saw a comment recently that, people talk some smack about AEW. They don't have big guys. Do you think they need more big guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of AEW. It's no secret, but
yeah,
I really think that AEW could definitely use a couple of more big guys.
Mm-hmm.
A couple. Not a lot, just a couple more. I think it's important to have some variety. The already guys got the small athletic guys who can move. You have the lucha libre style. You have the hardcore style represented. You have a lot of the funny sports entertainment. But let's get some couple of big guys in there.
Yeah, because I think they said they weren't even happy that recently from DX in AEW came out on the show. Billy Gunn, right?
Yeah.
That when he came out the other day, that WWE wasn't happy about that. So I wonder what other big guys they can get or use.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe they could. I mean, Luchasaurus is pretty big.
Yeah, and then of course you have MJF's bodyguard, who's a.
Oh yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a pretty big guy as well. And like I said, I think people need to realize, like, oh my God, AEW's not doing so great these days. Dude, it's only been like barely 6 months.
Yeah.
Like shit takes time to like build. And in my opinion, WWE fans are extremely fickle. Mm-hmm. Like they'll be into something now, give it a couple months, they'll be fucking bored again, and then they'll go back to it again, like they always do.
Yeah.
But on that note, man, I'm hungry. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to watch AEW. Hit us up on Instagram, everybody. You can still catch us on all platforms: iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube. Stitcher, Podbean, whatever you guys want. After this episode goes off the air,
Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts.
It'll be for your consumption by tomorrow. And on that note, this is your man JP. Enjoy pro wrestling.